Every time you tell that story, I'm screaming on the inside.
Welcome back to the Remedial Film Class Podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm Travis.
I'm George.
And I'm Megs.
Megs back at it again.
Look who we
It's
found in the
me.
parking lot.
2.5
know.
hour episode incoming.
Listen, it's not me, okay? I'm not the one that makes it a long episode. You all are just so inspired by my brilliance that it causes you to then make a 2.5 hour episode.
Yes.
It's
Dan
chicken.
in post.
It's egg. I'll take it. Guys,
I think we could probably do another 2.5 hours on Halloween.
on Halloween.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anytime we could do 2.5 hours.
We'll watch the movie backwards.
Yeah.
And we'll
Great
critique it.
idea. I'm in.
so
Let's
this
go.
week,
100%.
rather than watch another Halloween movie with poor Mini Megs, this time we invited Mini Megs to show us a movie.
You did. I don't know if that was a good idea or not, but it
The
happened.
movie is Waiting for Guffman from 1996. George had never seen it. Travis had never seen it. I had never seen it. Megs, why'd you pick this movie?
Oh, that is a great question. So, your podcast is here to dissect and review movies that most of you have seen, except for George.
Right.
Which, but this is a movie none of you had seen. And during, I believe, the second time that you had me on, you were talking about Best in Show. And, oh gosh, what was the other one that you were discussing?
Well, I brought up Schitt's Creek, I believe.
Spinal
Yeah,
Tap.
there was Schitt's
We always
Creek,
talk about
yes.
Spinal Tap.
And
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap.
Yeah, and so you've mentioned those, and I was like, oh, well, surely you all have seen Waiting for Guffman, and the answer was a resounding no. I was like, well, we have to change that because it's
Yes.
a classic.
You just couldn't have that.
No.
It was like when about, I don't know, 3 years ago, Dan said something, some reference to Back to the Future, and I was like, I haven't seen that. And he was like, you need,
Hence
we're starting
the birth
the
of
podcast
the
this week. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Back to the
Yeah.
Future's what did it?
Yeah.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back with that one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I
mean,
I'd cried about it 10 years prior when he told me he didn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like,
you
wait, what?
you have to see that one. That one's like,
Well, I have
it's
now.
It's a classic. Now you have.
I've seen it multiple times. I've recommended it.
There you go.
Yep.
We've done our job.
Whoa.
We can
The
pack up and go
growth.
home.
You've moved on to recommending the movie to other people.
Absolutely. I've
I love
recommended lots
that.
of movies. Yeah.
It really begs the question, George, by the end of this episode, will you be recommending Waiting for Guffman to your side chick?
Ooh.
We need to know by the end of this
Ooh.
episode.
Does
I don't know that
Does
Megs
Meg-
knows that you have a side chick.
No, yeah, Meg doesn't know about my side chick, I
Ooh,
don't
spill
think.
the tea. What's her name? Is she cute?
It's
She's
just-
probably cute.
Her name is Guitar Center.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Sounds
a bunch of-
hot.
a bunch of coworkers, old coworkers. I don't work there anymore.
There's things about him you don't understand.
Yeah, we
And we don't
have
want
this.
to understand.
Yeah,
He's a loner dodgy,
you
a
shouldn't-
rebel.
that you shouldn't understand. No, but we
Paging
just
Mr. Warner.
Mr. Warner. Paging Mr. Warner.
anyway. Every week we get together. We don't really get together. We just like somebody from the group picks a movie and we watch it and we talk about it. That's all.
There you go.
It's just like
It's old school
It's
podcasting.
it's a new kind of podcast. We're like no microphones, no nothing. Just it's like free form
mean-
podcasting.
Oh, like having friends? You mean like just
Kinda
having
like
people
that.
over and like watching a movie? Wow.
It's like
Yeah.
a
How
it's a
retro.
book of the it's a book of the month club,
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much. Yeah.
and one person suggests a movie that everybody watches, and then they all give their feedback. So in the 90s
See?
we used to do that, but we all watched the movie in the theater that I worked at,
Yes.
and then we would go into the parking lot after we lock the doors and talk about the movie.
Yes.
So that was like
until
1995,
the very
96.
wee hours of the morning.
Right.
Usually.
And this is one of those movies that I did not watch at an employee screening because
Wow.
it was not in my periph at that time, like this kind of comedy. I had not even seen Spinal Tap when this movie came out, so I didn't really even know this stuff existed.
Well, that's
this mockumentary.
the next movie that I will be recommending to my side chick group.
Is Spinal Tap?
Because one of the dudes hasn't seen it at all, and I have to fix that.
Yeah, they're music people. They need to see that movie.
Yeah, maybe after that, maybe some waiting for Guffman. I have a question.
Yes, this is satire.
That's not what I was gonna ask.
No, this is a serious film.
Yeah.
No, of course. I mean, couldn't you tell?
Yeah.
Did this come out before or after another movie that I've seen that I can't remember the name of? A Mighty Wind.
This is before, I believe.
Yeah, I think A Mighty Wind came after. Let me.
So this is kind of setting the groundwork for some movies that I've seen.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Spinal Tap did that, and then this kind of comes from that.
Yeah, this is 7 years before.
Oh yeah, A Mighty Wind is 2003. Yeah, this is Guffman's 96.
And there are other movies in this.
Yeah, there's Best of Show,
kind
which
of
is
genre.
the dog show version.
Right, I've never
Well,
seen that.
Yes.
These are all specifically Christopher Guest. Am I right? That's
Yes.
Are they all not Spinal Tap? Obviously.
No, he's in that too.
Not
bro.
obviously.
Spinal Tap.
Oh,
He's
is
in
he
that.
really?
Yeah,
That's
he's
like
one of
Yeah.
the guitar players. He's not Niall.
Oh, okay.
Niles.
Yeah,
Niall?
duh. Okay.
Neil.
Yeah. Duh.
Niall. I think.
Niall.
Nigel, guys.
But
Damn.
yes, these are all Christopher Guest movies.
Who?
And he's
Wow.
kind of well known for his mockumentary style, where it's someone who takes themselves so seriously and is so passionate, and I am the best, and I put my all into this, and then you like take a step back and you look at it and you're like, aren't you just showing dogs? Like, what do you do? Isn't that serious? But like, it's so funny. I love how real it is because like the people who are in those movies, those characters, those are real people. Like,
yeah.
I guarantee you can look at any of those movies and be like, oh man, I know a guy. This is his whole life, and it's true.
This is it's kind of like a nightmare of mine because
Yep.
my other side chick
Relatable.
is a band which I sing in,
Mhm.
and I don't think I'm a particularly good singer,
Ooh,
but
let's test it.
sometimes I'll kill it. I'll think I'll kill it.
And then you get the playback, and
Well,
you're like, "Oh,
hold
I was
on.
not killing that."
Hold on, and I'm like, I wonder if that actually sounded good
Mhm.
because I know
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I have recorded things and I thought it was good and it wasn't. But practice makes perfect. I'm getting there. But this is a nightmare of mine that I'm like that I'm singing and I'm singing and I'm singing and I'm like, oh, I'm killing it, and I'm in the wrong key.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. Like,
Can I say something that
absolutely
is going to
no.
On a
either lead us
podcast?
into a
No.
long conversation? I feel bad about saying this because this movie is fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's brilliant
Yes.
on many levels. And I can
Mhm.
say this for one reason only.
Uh-oh. Here it
I've
comes. Everybody get ready.
I've done-
Get your drinks ready.
yeah,
I'm ready.
I've been doing theater
There it is.
since 1992.
Drink.
Okay. Drink. Okay. So
Drink.
I've said that. Boom. I put that out there. Everybody in this movie exists.
Oh yes.
I've done shows for
In-
Corky.
in every
I've been
theater.
in shows with Corky. I've been directed by Corky. I've co-starred with Corky. Like I've met him many times. I've met
Mm-hmm.
Ron and Sheila many times, which are the husband and wife that believe they are on Broadway and they couldn't be in a high school show.
The penis reduction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliantly
Oh my
played by
gosh.
Fred brilliantly
Dude,
played by Fred
Brilliant.
Clipping
Willard.
like a motherfucker.
I don't care. I'm like so fucking excited. This
So funny.
Shout out to Jefferson City, Missouri.
Oh my
my
gosh.
God.
They'll chop
And
it down
Kath-
for you.
Catherine O'Hara is a treasure
Oh,
on this
yes.
planet.
That's his wife, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I've seen her in other
Mm.
things. I don't know what though.
Oh my
I-
god.
Oh my
I-
gosh.
Oh my god.
This is not okay.
What have I seen her
She's
in?
the mother in Home Alone, right?
Okay, yeah.
She's the
Schitt's
mother
Creek.
in Beetlejuice.
I've never seen Schitt's Creek. She's the mom. Oh my
She's
god,
the
yes.
mom from Beetlejuice.
God.
Yes.
Okay.
Beetlejuice, yes.
I think I have a real problem.
You
I think
do.
that like I need to like I don't know who would diagnose this, but I think that I have.
face blindness.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
a
You
face
have
blind.
CRS.
I think I do.
You have CRS.
Oh,
You can't remember shit.
can't remember shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a chronic
Okay.
condition.
I'm like, she's so familiar. I know I've seen her in.
Because
I
she's
couldn't
in
place it.
everything.
I can't ever. I don't know why I can't ever place it. Sometimes I don't even recognize the actors, but sometimes the actors look different.
Anthony Michael Hall was in this movie. And
Yeah.
No, really, he was the statue at the end, at the Toy Story. I mean, that's an underrated performance by Anthony Michael Hall to be caricatured without his knowledge and placed into a movie 10 years after his career had waned. Guys, evil statues tonight. Anyway, you know who else has like a real kind of underplayed energy about them? Christopher
Who?
Guest,
Hmm,
Corky
what a
St.
great
Clair.
segue.
George,
Nice segue. Hmm?
do you have any idea who Christopher Guest is in real life? I mean, you didn't know he was Nigel from Spinal Tap, so I'm
Nigel.
betting you don't.
No.
We covered this already.
We did, but it's still going to blow his mind,
Eh,
especially coming right
ref-
off of this movie.
Refresher.
George, Corky St. Clair, the Broadway visionary who brought you Red, White, and Blaine,
Yes.
went home every night while filming this movie to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Stop it.
No, that's
Nope,
his wife.
that's the truth.
They're still married and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
So
lifelong
you're saying
loves.
There's not a chance.
Good for him.
Yeah, man. Haircut and all.
Yeah.
She kept him.
Dude, that bowl cut, it was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Iconic.
You know what I kept getting a vibe of?
What?
The Tiger King.
Oh yeah,
The whole-
100%.
Stop, yes.
Yeah.
He
I even wrote
inspired
that down.
the
I
Tiger
was like-
King.
Corky is the Tiger King. And I said that Judy Tenuta t-shirt got me. Right when I saw the Judy Tenuta t-shirt he was wearing, I was like, oh, okay. It's going to be that kind of movie.
She's great, and rest in peace, Judy Tenuta. I'd never
Yes,
heard of her
she just
until she died, and then Weird Al posted about her, and I was like, well, if Weird Al likes her, I'll probably. And then I checked out her stuff, and yeah, no, she's
Great
hilarious.
stand-up comic. Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. Rest in peace.
So, Christopher Guest was on SNL
Okay.
back when like Martin Short was on there. They did Martin Short, Harry Shearer was on there as well at the same time, who was also in Spinal Tap.
Okay.
They did one of those SNL skits where they're off stage, like a film that they play in between commercial breaks, where they are synchronized swimmers.
Okay.
And they're doing the choreography of synchronized swimming, but you have to see it. It's on YouTube. You got to look it up.
Okay.
But it's like the budding, the beginnings of these kind of movies. You can tell.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Check it
Anything
out.
with Martin Short, anything from that area of comedy, like that era of comedy, is just right up. I love that.
Yeah,
It's-
Martin Short, Harry Shearer, Christopher Guest, Mike McKean. They're all just brilliant. Surprised they weren't in this. I know they helped write the music, but they weren't in the movie.
Oh, did they help write the music?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it's the
that's so
Spinal
funny.
Tap crew that did the music for this.
I love
Which is
that.
awesome because the the prelude that plays before the show plays, which I
Mhm.
always love. When you're in a show, you're sitting backstage and you're listening to them play the prelude.
Yeah.
And they pretty much play an excerpt of all the music that's in the play, and
Mhm.
they compile it. That shit sounded good.
Yeah, no, it's
Well,
legit.
no,
good.
that's-
Yes.
Yes.
No, that's like kind of why it's one of the reasons why this is so funny is
Mhm.
because like the director of the band is
Is-
so competent. It's
but he's
It's,
playing the way he's playing it, like the hunched over the Mr. Holland's Opus,
Yeah,
orchestration. Oh my
yes.
god, it is the funniest thing because
Yeah.
they do that. Like you're like, I'm like,
Yes.
dude, you're a gym teacher, but he's like playing it like
Not in that
he's-
moment, they're not.
No, he's at the Kimmel Center. In his
Yes.
mind, he's at the Kimmel Center. He's not in the gym.
so incredibly competent. It's
And I remember turning to
and
my
they choose this guy to direct the play.
Well,
It's crazy.
go back and watch it again. The scene where they get Corky to come back after
Yes,
that guy
yes.
announced that he was going to direct the show,
Uh-huh.
which was the crowning moment of his life.
Yep.
And then
So funny.
Corky shows up and they're like applauding him. Watch the background the whole time. That
Okay.
guy is standing there pissed.
With dagger eyes.
Oh my God, he wants him to die. He wants to drop a safe on him. Like, you can tell, like, and the way he's playing it is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because they kind of they do a couple clips of him, but then they show him in the background almost the whole time, and he does
Okay.
not break it at all. It's
No,
very
he's-
good.
It's
He's
amazing.
very in his character, and it's like you're saying, that is actually how music directors act all the
Mhm.
time. Whether it's a complete ridiculous piece that they wrote themselves about the color of the trees outside, it could be anything. They're going to look as intense and hunched over as that guy did in that scene. There's no middle ground. It is off or on, and that's the only two modes they've got.
Yeah, I think everybody was nailed, like, to a T.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even Parker Posey's character, who was the Dairy Queen.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like, I've met all those people.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny to see
Mhm.
them. Like, I think Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a character in, I think it's Along Came Polly, where he's in a production of Jesus Christ Superstar, and he thinks he's on Broadway, but it's community theater, but it's like not even community theater. It's like
It's
just out of high school. Like, it's not even like off Broadway. It's but he's playing it like a diva, and that character exists in almost every show you're in. That's
Mhm.
the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, these people, I've met them all, and this is the most perfect movie I've ever seen when it comes to doing a satirical version of something that exists. Like, it's all done in jest, but
It's
It's
perfection.
real.
but
It-
but
yeah.
boy,
Mhm.
wow, did this hit
the
hit
Eugene
on
Levy
some
character,
truth.
yeah,
Yeah.
the dentist playing,
Yeah.
like, coming off
Eugene
out of
Levy.
nowhere. Oh
Yep.
my God.
Dude, just him taking his glasses off. It's just
So
it,
good.
man.
Oh
And-
man.
I directed the Stations of the Cross, like, as many years, right? And that was always the first thing I would say to people: if you're wearing glasses now, figure out a way
Yeah.
to not have glasses the night of the performance.
Yeah.
Because I said we're 2,000 years ago, no one had
Glasses
glasses.
don't exist. Yeah.
Glasses didn't exist, so I was that guy,
Oh my gosh.
and I had a couple kids walking around that were pretty aimless.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But they were not in sneakers. They had sandals or bare feet, and they were not wearing glasses or jewelry.
Oh man.
gosh.
And they were
important.
covered in
So-
lice just for the sake of real.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, the thing about
Only
Eugene
once.
Levy in this movie is if you think that you're gonna hate the way he sings, wait till he tries it.
You're gonna love it.
man.
George probably doesn't
Oh, man.
recognize Eugene Levy as having sold Chevy Chase a car 2 episodes ago.
2 weeks ago.
You guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's him.
Eugene Levy.
No, I didn't.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
That's the guy.
Guy with the car. How could you
Also
not
a very
recognize?
supportive
Family
father
truckster.
The truckster.
in American Pie.
American Pie, which we
I
haven't watched yet.
actually I recognize him from that.
From
I've never
American
seen
Pie.
American Pie, but I've seen like scenes from American Pie, and I've seen like previews from American Pie.
Yeah,
I did recognize
he's
him there.
absolutely brilliant in that as well.
Yeah.
I just think he's brilliant in everything. And he
Everything.
actually wrote this with Christopher Guest.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that watch Schitt's Creek, I mean, he and Dan Levy, who plays David as his son in the show, is his son in real life. They both worked on it together. And I just think he's so brilliant. Like, the writing is amazing. Like what you were saying about it being very real. That's why I loved it so much when I was younger. And this will come into play later. But I watched it as a kid and we watched a very edited version. So there are some scenes that I saw watching this to come on the show tonight that I'd never seen in my life because my parents always edited it out. But I grew up with a best friend who was a dual piano and voice major. She still has perfect pitch, so you can honk a horn, and she could be like, B flat. I'm like, how do you know that?
No,
Are
that's
you
a G sharp.
magic? Yeah, like she heard like a boat horn. She's like, oh yeah, definitely sharp. I'm like, I can't with you. Stop. But I grew up with that as my best friend, and her dad was a music director and her mom was a choir director. And so all
boy.
of those people in Guffman were people that I knew in real life. And, you know, we all grew up in the theater scene and the music scene. And so watching that movie was so funny because that was our world. And so then I also had something to poke fun of, like her parents with, with like the choir director like hunched over and like all intense as if his life is dependent on that trumpet coming in on that 8 count. Like he's like, if you don't get this, I swear to God.
Yeah.
I knew those people.
This is my life.
Oh, and the trumpet player doing double duty playing the
Yes.
high note on the trumpet and hitting the
Yes.
drum. Oh my
At
gosh.
one point, he's playing like 3 instruments in that scene.
So good.
Iconic.
Because here's the thing: the music director, the conductor, is getting the most out of what he has in this town. Like absolutely, it cannot be better.
Yeah. And what's funny is if you ever watch Schitt's Creek, it's the same kind of town, and they're all like yuppie New York City kind of people that move to the sticks, and they have to kind of adapt to that world.
Okay.
And the people in the town, they do have a theater group, and it's the same people. Like it's the mayor, but he's also leading the show, but he's the sheriff, like, and he runs a milk place.
How
like,
much you got?
Yeah, how much you got? But you could see watching that show the many years of trying shit out in all these movies. It comes to like perfection on that show. Like everything that you love about these movies becomes like 10 times better on the show. So that whole theater thing, and the Catherine O'Hara's character is an established actress that is kind of washed up. So she's taking on the theater like, this is the theater. And
the
they're
theater,
like,
darling.
the theater, darling. You know, I'm acting, and they're all like, I got shit on the grill. I gotta turn over. Like she doesn't get it, and they don't get it, but she kind of rubs off on them, and they rub off on her. So it's like every character in this movie is what she kind of plays in that show, but like at 11.
Okay,
it's pretty good. Actually, it's great.
It's great. Iconic.
Mm-hmm. The thing I noticed the most about this movie, I turned to my wife because she's like watching it. She's like, how are you watching this? She said to me.
Oh, it's
I'm
beautiful.
I'm like, Jen, do you realize how brilliant this is? I said, these are all top-notch singers and actors that are portraying terrible singers and terrible actors.
And you know how difficult it is to sing poorly when you know how to sing
Oh
well?
my God. Catherine O'Hara's audition. I'm just like, how did she manage to sing so badly? Because she's so talented.
So
that had
flat.
to be like the hardest scene to shoot for her. Oh my God.
Well, what's funny
Eugene
is I think
Levy's flat, light summer, and then he goes, and like, I can't even reach the level of flatness of the note. I was watching it with a buddy, and I was like, do you know how hard it is to sing that intentionally flat? It's a talent is what it is.
Oh my God.
There was one person struggling in this movie with that, and it was Parker Posey. She can sing. She kept during her duet, she kept slipping into singing well.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh man, she's just not able to do it the way they are. Because Catherine O'Hara was not only doing it with the songs, like she with the acting, like the turning the whole body away from the crowd, and then turning back and planning her line, and
projecting to the audience. And
oh
then
my God,
back
I was
around.
laughing so hard because I've seen people do that, and it's so uncomfortable because they have their trigger points, like whether it's a prop or a line or a part of the stage that they stand at, and that's where they learn their lines. So if they're not standing in that spot at that scene, or that part of the scene, they don't know what the hell to say.
They're thrown off. Yeah.
or if they're not touching the prop that they rehearsed with, they don't know what to say. Or if they don't get the cue line, they don't know what the next line is. Like, and she was playing that so well because not only was she doing that, but she was also playing a person who believes she's on Broadway. So she's so damn good. They show up at the audition together. They're matching outfits. Like they're ready to go. They're waiting for their Oscar before they even get, or their Tony before they even get on the stage.
Yeah. They're ready.
And but she's terrible. And he's not. I think Fred Willard actually had trouble playing a bad actor because he was good. Even when he was trying to play bad, he was good.
Yeah.
But she was so good at like just turning on a line and then hitting the line wrong and then facing it, like all those little awkward, annoying things that I always bring up when we watch a movie like Sleepaway Camp. And I'm like, these are terrible actors. She studied that and said, I'm going to do that and portray a bad actor who thinks she's good. I was just like, I was blown away by it. I
love the dynamic between the husband and wife. Like how like the husband is like so controlling but she doesn't really realize it because they're both buffoons. But
oh
like,
my God. That thing about how
she's like, sometimes we go over 2
hours or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. He's like, wait, sometimes we go over 2 hours of notes, and they're mostly for me. And he's like, no, they're for both of us. They're for us, but
just mostly you.
Just mostly you. But and she's like, yeah, she's trying to like, there's some notes about changing my instincts and God.
Poor Corky, the stuff that he has to go through, but he's part of the problem.
Yeah, of course.
Because he thinks he's on Broadway too, but he's never going to get there, obviously. And, you're taking criticism from somebody who's not any better than you. That's tough. That's tough. And to play that character to other people that are just great actors and then just playing it that way, it just blew me away.
So the scene about the glasses was a great example of that, where the director takes the actor aside and gives him like a letting him know that his glasses are an issue and blah blah blah, and the respect that Eugene Levy is trying to like he's trying to explain himself, and he's trying to be like super respectful of this director because he thinks this director is great.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah. So the one, it's like, well, he's usually all timid. Oh, the one problem is, obviously I don't see very well.
I got a lazy eye.
Without my glasses. And the other problem, and I'm like, he's got two problems, and I'm like, what could the second problem possibly be? And then he takes his glasses off. Oh my God. I died. I died. Skull emoji.
What was better was when the musical director confronted Corky on his decisions during rehearsal in front of everybody. And it was like really uncomfortable.
And the volume of his voice was a problem.
Why are you whispering? I'm right in front of you.
I'm right in front of you.
Speak up. Why are you whispering? Okay, that's too loud.
Oh my God. Well, they're just going to forget it anyway, so why should they even learn it? Damn it.
Right. To watch them on this, there's only 5 people in this play.
Yeah.
And it's still a shit show. And they're doing everything, they're learning the play in order, in real time. They're not breaking off and doing whatever, but they're still just a mess. But they're getting ready for Broadway.
Oh, yeah. They are. This
for
is
Mr.
serious
Guffman.
business.
For Guffman, yeah.
At least they were until the dad, Red, refuses to let Johnny be in the play. George, it's time again for me to say, did you recognize the guy that played the dad, Red Savage? You remember this guy as the car guy who keeps giving leering kind of suspicious looks to Corky? Which Corky doesn't see because he's too busy locked eyes on Johnny Savage.
You mean like in the garage?
In the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
Okay, hold on.
She's in the corner like, oh.
I think it's Bill Murray's brother.
Which one? He's got 3.
I forget. The one who's in all the movies.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is. Hooray!
The one that's in
What's
all
his-
of them.
Brian.
Brian Murray.
Brian
Brian
Doyle
Murray.
Murray. Yep.
Doyle Murray.
Doyle.
But yeah, no, good
Right.
job.
Wow.
For once,
We
Good
got
job.
one.
got one.
Round of applause, please. I got one.
Wait, do a sound bite later. Insert sound bite of applause.
Burr, burr, burr.
There you go.
We should do some kind of like Elmo celebration or something like that.
That was so underwhelming,
Not
guys.
that one.
But thank you so much for
Well,
the
at least now everybody knows that we don't, we're not faking it. You usually legit have no idea. But this time, hey.
No, yeah. But you know what it was because the last time we had this conversation, you were like, "How do you not recognize him? He looks exactly like Bill Murray."
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right? And I'm like, I don't know. But
Mhm.
this time I was like, wow, that mechanic looks a lot like Bill Murray. And then I just went on with my life.
Well, if you recognize people in this movie, like, then you would have recognized Ray Liotta, who was in this movie.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was the narrator.
No, he wasn't. Stop it. I know what Ray Liotta looks like.
My wife goes, that guy looks familiar. Is that Ray Liotta? I'm like, that's not Ray Liotta.
Your wife said that?
Yeah, she thought it was Ray Liotta.
It's
so I'm like,
genetic,
okay,
I
and
think.
yeah, I'm using that in the podcast. I told her. It's wish.com Ray Liotta.
God.
Who was the best person in the show, inside the show?
Yeah, no, he was fine. He
like
was
the guy in the narrator was like, okay.
Oh yeah, in the actual play.
Yes.
he made the
was great.
choice. He made the choice that he's the seasoned veteran. He's the guy who should be on Broadway, and the rest of these clowns should be working at Walmart.
Yeah.
Which is
Like,
so
that's-
funny. Because they just pulled him out of like a little house in the woods and they were like, you know
Mhm.
what? You've been here longer than everybody and you have like that story time grandpa vibe that
well,
like
he's
You
a
know,
hard
that
we
was-
are here
worker. Hard
for.
worker.
That may have been the only good call that
Corky.
Corky
Mhm.
made
Yes.
this entire play.
Yeah.
Was going to recruit him.
My favorite part with him doing the auditions when Eugene Levy's doing his thing and Corky's like going, like nodding his head like, oh wow, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
This is great.
Yes.
Oh my.
I love just how Eugene Levy starts in the wrong octave.
Yes.
Look
Like
out.
he's an entire octave too high, and he's like, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Baby.
He's like in he's like in falsetto and then he
Oh,
goes down
yes,
like
yes.
baritone.
Yes.
What was the name of the Parker Posey's character? Where they're doing the duet and
Libby.
she's singing.
Libby?
Libby May.
Libby. She's singing
Yeah.
and it sounds okay at high school level. And then Corky turns and starts the next verse. And he's like, ah! He's like above her.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so bad. It's
Yeah.
like you gotta lose that a little bit to be. It's so funny. I've seen that happen in shows, and it's just uncomfortable. Like you're in like West Side Story, and like Bernardo's like, oh, and it's like no, you gotta bring it down a little bit.
Sorry, I walked into a parking meter on the way to that note.
Happens to the best of us.
But I've actually done that in a show.
Yeah.
In a
Walked into a
performance.
parking meter.
No, went about 3 octaves too high.
Walked into what you did?
Yeah.
Where'd it come from?
Where's that sound, Dan? Boom.
Oh, sorry.
Boom.
There it is.
That's a good
You
one.
can't make the sound when you're actually doing the sound.
So
I was doing a production of Rocky Horror, and I was playing Dr. Scott. So I'm kind of deep voice German accent, all that stuff. But the character that plays Eddie is played by the same guy who plays Dr. Scott in the play. But in the revival, there's a woman who plays both parts. So the CD that I learned the song from was the revival.
Okay.
So for some reason in one of the shows, I got into it too much. And I hit like this falsetto kind of pitch, like this note that I should not have done. I would never have done it in any of the shows. But for some reason, I was just involved.
Did you nail it?
I copied it almost to a T from the CD, but it just was so out of character. I don't know why the hell I did it.
So he's trying to say, yes, I did.
So the
nail it.
director comes after the show's over. He's
Thank
like,
you.
he goes,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, what was that?
You go, girl.
I'm like, I don't
Get
know.
it,
I
queen.
don't know where it came from. Get it, girl.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my god.
I often sing higher than our lead singer in my band, who is female.
Mm.
And who everybody listening to this show is familiar with because she sings our theme song.
She
Yeah.
does.
So
Well,
shout
you're
out
like
to
a
That's
Shawnee.
fun.
I don't know. I don't know
Your
what my
tone is like a tenor,
I don't
but
know.
you sing like a baritone.
Well, see, here's
tenor.
the thing in the type of music that we do. There's the screaming,
Mhm.
you know, like screaming and rock music is actually your falsetto voice
right.
with vocal fry, which is like that vibrating sound that you can do. Like everyone can do it low. It's just like
Mhm.
like that's
The Kim
you can do that.
Kardashian.
Yeah.
The
some
Kim
people talk.
Kardashian.
Isn't she the one who I
yeah.
don't know these things,
Yeah.
but the
Did you
vocal
want
fry.
paper?
Like I can, like you can. Some people talk with vocal fry
Kim.
without even
Yeah.
trying.
There are
Yeah, they're like,
people
"Did you-
dying.
Did you order the cappuccino?
Yeah, but it's got this like
Cappuccino.
yeah.
You want to
Anyway,
go really
it's
low,
your fu-
but also
So-
not. You go to the
You-
back
so
of
you
your
have to-
throat.
So you have to really practice getting that vocal fry into your falsetto voice, and then you can sing punk rock.
Right.
Like that is what it is. So when Shawnee is singing, she's just singing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing a lot of falsetto, which is higher than her.
Right.
It's very weird. It works, but it's weird.
You hope.
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah,
He
that's
said
my
he
that's my
copied the
nightmare. But
CD
That's
yeah,
your nightmare.
exactly. Okay, guys. He doesn't hope. He does.
I do it.
no, Travis does.
Shit. Well, that's my kryptonite. It's like, oh, you got to mimic this. That's why I can't sing next to somebody if there's like a harmony, because I go to their note and I can't take it. It's like I have to like stand on my
That-
own spot.
Plagiarism.
that takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
But you know, actually, do you play any instruments, Travis?
No.
No. Okay, so you should maybe take up the piano a little bit because
Get
No,
wrecked.
Why are we
honestly,
laughing?
Dabble.
No.
Dabble
You
in
don't
the
No,
play
piano.
an
honestly.
instrument. Get wrecked.
yeah, basically. No, because like on the piano, you have like you play chords, right? So
Right.
you're playing 3 notes at once, and like your ear just gets trained to it. That's why Meg's friend who has perfect pitch has perfect pitch
Mhm.
because she's been hearing this since she was a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I completely
So,
get it.
I just
Like if someone went next to me with a piano and they were like, and then they go next note, I just hit it. Like it sucks.
if I was your director and you needed to hit a harmony for me,
Yeah.
that's what I would direct you to do.
Okay. I am capable of doing it.
Play a little piano.
I
Play a lot of piano,
I did
actually.
a 4-part harmony in Smokey Joe's Cafe. I know how to do it. It's just
It's
tough
tough.
when I get around someone who's
It is tough.
a tenor, baritone. Sometimes I'll go tenor. Sometimes if I don't have a set rehearsed note that in that song, then I tend to venture, and it's not good.
Yes.
But it also comes from practice. So if
Don't-
you do it more,
Don't let those
I've
other
done
notes
shows a
boss
lot.
you around. Okay.
You're
You
right.
don't-
You're right.
Don't
I
let
need
them
to
boss you around.
take charge.
You're strong and independent. Okay. You can sing those notes. Don't have to do
I'm
their
on it.
notes. I believe in you.
Mm. Thanks, inner self.
It's
Know
it's an art. Like, dude,
know who doesn't do any of that?
anyone in this
Anybody in
film.
this movie.
Anyone.
It's literally an art. If you
Like-
get a degree
No,
in
it is.
it's in the arts.
No, it is, but I mean, we know that it is, and most people know that it is. But like, there are a lot of people that just think it's easy
It's not.
Well,
to be good at it. I mean, look at the biggest show in America for like 10 years straight was American Idol.
Mhm.
It's this.
mhm.
It's people that think they're good that
Yeah.
are not.
Yeah.
well,
And that kind of puts it in the forefront that like, hey, listen, that this is not easy.
And from what Meg said about her friend,
Yeah.
like
Hillary
I grew up
is
in a
her
house.
name. You know, if you want
Hillary.
to frame
Hillary.
a reference.
Shout out to Hillary.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Hillary. She is going to be listening to this, so we should talk about all of her secrets
Absolutely.
as much as possible. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, great.
I grew up in a house where my dad sang in an a cappella group. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
4 members in that group. Grew up on that music. Grew up listening to him sing, going to all his shows and singing along with his CDs. Like, I know how to do it. I know how he does it, but just being around it doesn't help. You have to really train yourself, which I've never done.
So what you're saying is you need to
Goals.
apply some of the like things they did in this movie and go like, you know, like those exercises like that Catherine O'Hara did
I'm not doing any of her exercises.
with Fred Willard.
I heard one of them say sense memory, and I'm just like, oh boy. They're just like they're purposely throwing out terms from acting classes.
When in doubt, turn to your friend and say, hubbub, 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 hubbub.
Yeah, we need chatter.
That was one of my
God.
favorite parts of that whole scene was them turning to each other and gleefully whispering hubbub, hubbub, hubbub to each other. It just, so funny.
So was that one song purposely opposite of every other song in the play? Like I'm like
Alien
all of a
one?
sudden they're doing no, not the alien one. That one was completely off the chain. But the one where they're workers.
It was out of orbit.
The workers
Yes.
holding
Out of
the
this
store.
world.
Yes.
I'm like this is so Sondheim. Like it's not like everything else is like Hammerstein and like all the other songs are very like peppy, showboaty,
Yeah.
carousel, and then you get this one song is like Sondheim, and then the alien song, I don't even know what the hell the reference was with that, but it was freaking brilliant.
You need
I'm-
an edgy modern piece, which is, you know, what that one about the stool boom. And then you need just a comedic
Stool boom.
hysteria one where people are just like, oh yes. Like the crowd's reactions to the show is one of my favorite aspects of this entire movie. Because I don't know if you all know this. I'm from Missouri, which is where the city of Blaine is set in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I grew up with those people. I've seen like when like the aliens came on and they all just start like clapping is just so funny. Like
the bless your heart head tilt, and then they're like, wait, no, I love this.
Yeah.
this is great. Like the awe that is invoked from some of the stuff they do is just so great.
It's like an exercise in dramatic irony too, because you go from being part of the audience who is expecting the people in the movie, okay, I get it, they think they're great, but we know they suck. And so you're like, oh, here comes the audience. Oh God, they like it too. And it like pushes you back as the movie viewer out of the audience and now onto your couch where you're just like, God, even the crowd doesn't, it's fantastic.
Mhm.
But what they really captured that I loved was the after play crowd reaction. Like the funniest thing, it's not really funny, but like high school plays and community theater,
Mhm.
you know, they all kind of bring their bouquets of flowers to the backstage or whatever, and they have their daughter who's been doing this since she was 5, and now she's the lead in the play.
Yes.
And like the balloons and the bouquets, like they capture all that.
They do.
And then the one guy was like, Corky, I loved you in this. Like I wish I was in the play. Like they clearly have have something going.
Yes.
They might not be aware of.
I
Yes.
love that Steve
Steve.
character. He is so funny.
But it's just so many
That's
nuances.
show
in
business,
that
according to Corky, who won't let me audition.
He's like, he wouldn't move the I couldn't try out that day. He wouldn't move it. Wouldn't let me do it any other time. Just can't. He won't let me.
And that's show business.
That's show business. He knows what he's talking about. He's from New York.
Well, he wanted the younger guy there, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's
He was
exactly
kinda, He was
right.
kind of into the other guy.
But
he's married.
A
He's
couple
married.
of points about the town.
She's just out of town.
She's just out of town.
Yeah, that was so funny too. That was so funny too.
That's when I got the Tiger King vibe.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But about the town, Dan, didn't you live in this town at one point?
You know, oddly enough, this week, right after I watched this movie, I texted
He vacations in Blaine.
I texted Minnie Megs and I was like, I used to live in Blaine. And she was like,
You did?
Oh my God, really? And I'm like, and so did you, but it was called something else. You and I
We both
lived in the same
in a
town.
tiny town. Yes.
We lived in Blaine. It was just called something else because there is no
Yes,
Blaine,
okay.
Missouri. But we both
Right.
lived in Blaine. It's real,
yes.
guys.
Oh, it's so real.
real.
I can't. It's so real. I can't wait to get back into it.
Another
Yeah,
another
he's
town
ready.
that
I'm
another
ready.
town that this town reminded me of if you've ever seen Parks and Rec,
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Pawnee, Indiana
Right.
is exactly this way.
I
As
thought
well.
you were going to say in an episode of Community.
No, I mean there is an episode of Community that kind of reminds me of this, but it's
Is it
But it's set in
the
Gotham.
is it the
no,
one
it's
where
different.
they have to join the Glee Club?
Well, no. But also yes, the Glee Club episodes. There's 2 Glee Club episodes, in different seasons, and they're both fantastic. But the one I was thinking of was when Dean Pelton is tasked with directing a new commercial for the school, and he turns into a monster, like director, prima donna,
Tears apart
like,
the whole school.
his entire mental health is down the drain. It's just and then there's
Being
there's
in the show
some
will do that.
like he's like all of the students that are actors in the new commercial are going insane in different ways because of him, and one of them who's like his assistant, one of the students is his assistant, is like she she's like Stockholm syndrome. Like
Okay.
That's good.
she can't admit that he's crazy and that he's abusive and that he's
Right.
like
He's keeping
whatever,
them
because
there
then
against their will.
yeah, exactly. It's bad. It's really
Mhm.
bad, but it's also great. It's not exactly the same thing because this is more like movie biz, not
Right.
really, the theater side. But that reminded me of it a little bit.
I mean, it's a very similar concept. I mean, it's a small community college. They're nothing big, nothing, exciting. And they're tasked with putting on a production that's supposed to be good publicity for the school. I mean,
Yeah,
to a
it
T,
has
there
it
is.
has it has parallels, and Guffman in that episode would be Luis Guzman, who went to this college, and he was going to come back and be in the commercial, and so they had to like amp it up to 11 at that
Yeah.
point. That happens in this movie, right? So yeah, there's parallels.
Mhm.
This movie sets the stage for a lot of great stuff.
Yes. We had a director quit once.
Oh my gosh, you
I
pushed
wonder
them
why.
out.
It wasn't me.
How could you do that?
God,
Wasn't
that
me, it
line
was-
when he
I-
quits and says he's gonna go bite his pillow made me just cry laughing. Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm going to
That
do?
is
I'm going to go. I'm going to bite my pillow. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
Just some of the things that he says, and he always says it in that like very like soft, like, and you all are just bastard people, all of you. And it's like a
bastard people.
whisper
Ass face.
yell. Like, he's not loud. He's saying it in the softest
Yeah.
little voice, but he's yelling in his heart. He's yelling
He's
at
doing
you.
that mom in the supermarket who doesn't want to embarrass herself but wants
Yeah.
to reprimand her kid voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I told you not to yell in the store.
We are not getting you a treat at the checkout. Don't ask
It's like
me.
the
Yeah.
volume is really super low, but the intensity is super
it's so
high.
there.
He's very
It's like-
disappointed in you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So Corky's dance in
Oh.
his
Oh my
house or
god,
apartment
I lost it.
with it. Would he have jeans on backwards for some reason?
He did. He
And the
did.
pelvic thrusts.
Well, it was 96, so crisscross was big.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So just this week, and we haven't really talked about this on the show much because it divided the room, and I was afraid
Oh,
we
no.
wouldn't survive. But over the weekend that we were recording this previously, a certain group of fellows who play the Americanized football played another group of fellows and narrowly escaped with a victory.
No.
I am in Kansas City. The boys are in Philadelphia.
Front runner.
We didn't
You're
talk
front
about
runner.
it. We're not going to talk about it. Go Chiefs. But I bring
didn't
it up.
have a horse in the race, so I don't really give a shit.
I only bring it up because Rihanna had a halftime show. And
Yeah.
It's true.
on the day following the Super Bowl, Pat McAfee reenacted the backup dancing of the Rihanna
Oh my
halftime
God.
show. And behind his desk was doing a lot of pelvic thrusting. And it was hysterical.
Nice.
I highly recommend you seek that out. But
Yeah.
then I
that
see
sounds hilarious.
right after Pat McAfee throwing those hips around, I see that dance with the little pelvic thrusts in the backward jeans. And it was like the stars aligned in some kind of weird testicular motion. Guys,
Oh
it
dear.
was time to watch this movie. Go Chiefs.
Yeah.
The galaxy
Go
just gave it
Chiefs,
to
he
you.
says.
Go Chiefs.
Go chefs. Go chefs.
Chefs.
Yeah.
Googly moogly.
Great googly.
I loved his dance scene so much in just for so many different ways because he literally thought he is the coolest guy that's ever existed. Like, that's facts. His pants were on fully backwards, pulled all the way up to his chest, like living his truth over there. And everyone was like, you know what? That checks out. He's from New York. He's been in shows. Like, where this
yeah.
is the pinnacle of talent. And like just him being from New York and knowing something about musicals makes him like a visionary in their eyes. Like he can do no wrong. Like he always knows what's
Right.
best. Like when they first started, I think it was Libby, Parker Posey's character, who's like, listen, you don't understand why you're doing it, but he does. He's got a reason.
Yeah.
We don't know why, but it's a reason. And that's enough for them.
She's so wonderful.
It almost reminds me a little bit of
An episode of Community.
a character in Community who
Parks and Rec?
wherever no, in Community, whenever someone accuses her of being like I don't know, insensitive or like like I'd say not woke or whatever,
Mhm.
she's just like, I'm not racist. I lived in New York.
Yeah.
It's
Britta.
like her thing. Britta keeps
Yep.
reminding people that she lived in New York.
I'm from New York.
Not from, lived in New York.
Lived in New York.
I lived in New York.
I was in
That- there's-
off Broadway shows.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
I-
So I had no idea this was going to have a paranormal bent to it. What with the presence of UFOs and abductions. The movie I watched the day before I watched this was called Love and Saucers.
Hi, this is
Don't
Megs
Google
and
this.
Post.
Don't Google this. Yeah,
Don't
Meg's post.
Google what Dan just said. Dan's gonna say it. Dan's gonna talk about it. He's gonna say that it's cheap
Yeah.
and he was bored. Don't do it. Don't follow what Dan
Definitely
said.
don't do it at work.
Don't do it at work. Don't do it at
Don't
home.
do it at work.
Don't do it ever. It's a mistake. Back to you, Dan. Oh
And it was a
my.
That classic.
legit documentary
What?
about a guy
classic.
in Hoboken, New Jersey, who claims to have had a many years
Encounter.
relationship with aliens and fathered
Nice.
alien babies, and now he paints pictures of naked alien ladies.
Oh.
It was fucking weird, and I watched it because it was cheap from Vinegar Syndrome, and it looked really weird, and it was. And I thought, this is a singular thing that I'm watching because it was on sale and it looks really silly, and I'm never going to have to think about aliens and banging again. And then the next movie I watched was this. And I was like, oh, Jesus. And even down to, like, showing you how well Waiting for Guffman nails this. The little, what we were talking about, the dancing with the backward jeans, right? It's essentially just like B-roll that they shot of him and just kind of insert as a transitional piece. In the real Alien documentary from just a couple of years ago, for some reason, one of the characters is lifting weights as B-roll. And I remember thinking, God, this is such a weird, like he said, like, oh, I'm going to lift weights. You ought to tape it. As I very, not impressively, lift very few weights
4
for an
pounds.
extended amount of time.
It's about the reps,
And
not
then-
the weight. Okay.
And then we got the
That's true.
dancing, and I thought, damn, this movie
Well,
nailed
they lost the footage of him flying a balloon across the country.
it. Right.
Yeah, I know. He's talking about this guy in Hoboken that claims to have had a relationship with an alien. And anymore, I'm kind of just like,
His name's Kanye.
it could have
Oh
happened.
my god.
I don't know. I mean, who am I? I don't know.
Kanye is
But
an
you know who
alien.
does know? You know who does know?
Well, so are the Kardashians, but that's neither here nor there.
You know who does know about aliens?
Who?
Who?
The alien expert in this movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, David
I know him
Cross.
from lots of other things.
Oh, that's the
Yes,
dad from
David
16
Cross.
Candles.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
He's
Arrested
always,
Development.
Oh, yes.
yes, Arrested
The
Development.
Never Nude.
I believe he did all those like clip shows too, like I Love the 80s and stuff.
Yeah, he used
Well,
to
he's
be
the
a
dad from
guest on
16
there.
Candles, so He's kind of like the dad of the 80s.
I don't.
No,
I've never seen
are you
16
talking about the
Candles.
guy that
Okay.
has the numb butt? Because that's not who George
No,
is
the
talking
No,
about.
one in
no.
George is
crop
talking about the guy
circle.
who measures the crop circle. I think.
Yes.
Travis, are
and
you
that the
thinking
radius
of the
never
man
changes?
with the numb buttocks?
Yes.
Amazing.
He's from what's the show?
Arrested Development.
The
Arrested
one that-
Development.
Arrested Development.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we just said that.
Yeah, but I know him from
He
Men in
forgot.
Black. I know him from
Okay.
other things. Yeah,
Gosh.
Yeah. So it says
from the Russo brothers.
yeah, just
Yes.
he had such a small part,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know why, because he was amazing for like the
Yes, but
2
he does
minutes.
he does the job.
He
Oh,
he
it's
should
so
have been
good.
in it more. Like
He's
He
like
just-
Lecter. He's in it
I
for
wanted-
only
Yeah,
2 minutes,
he
but he
just-
made an impression.
yeah.
I
He
wanted
just
him
sets
to
the
play.
stage for how serious this is.
I wanted him to play Johnny Savage. Like I wanted him to be the fourth person in that quartet. Like I was like, no,
Yeah.
put David Cross on stage. I want to see him duet with Parker Posey. That would have been so funny.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's in there and it's just subtle, but I wanted a moment where either the UFO expert David Cross or the abductee, played by Paul Dooley, I wanted one of them to like shed a single tear and nod solemnly when the alien part of the play started.
Oh, that would.
I
have
wanted
been
that
so
payoff
funny.
moment.
Yeah, like they got that so right.
Just be like, yeah.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I remember that. I remember when that
Yeah.
happened.
Then
How
they-
good was it when the alien head wouldn't fit through the doorway?
I
That was
And
called it
everyone
before
laughed.
that.
that was
Yep. Soon
was
as
so-
that Doctor Who spaceship
yeah.
landed, I'm
That-
like that. When they showed his head, I'm like, he's not getting through that door.
Is
That
that
was
the
so
shot where
Spinal
you
Tap.
see him just like walk in from the side stage? One of the
No,
shots you can see a character just straight walk onto the stage trying to like sneak, but
Oh, behind
very
the
clearly
prop.
camera is set behind the
Ah,
prop
it's so
thing.
good.
One of the
maybe that
god.
was it. There
So
was a
good.
lamppost that walked across the stage during one
The
scene.
lamp-
Yes,
Post was good.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was good.
And the horse was good too.
Also, Dan, I think you need to put a disclaimer in the part where you mention the Alien documentary, just so lackadaisically. And I was sitting here Googling it, and the first image that
Oh,
pops
don't
up
Google.
is
Don't Google. You're
his
gonna get naked
artwork.
paintings.
No, it's his artwork. So what I want you to do is like do like a like rewind sound, and I want you to go back and then issue a warning to everyone watching this when Dan
Hi,
says
this is Dan in post.
Hi, this is
Don't
Megs
Google
in
this.
Post.
Don't Google this. Yeah,
Don't
Meg's in post.
Google what Dan just said. Dan's gonna say it. Dan's gonna talk about it. He's gonna say that it's cheap
Yeah.
and he was bored. Don't do it. Don't follow what Dan
Definitely
said.
don't do it at work.
Don't do it at work. Don't do it at
Don't
home.
do it at work.
Don't do it ever. It's a mistake. Back to you, Dan.
Dude, Dan is gonna cut that and put it right where it needs to
Yeah.
be. and
Yes,
it's gonna
I
be
am.
fantastic.
That was so good.
With the rewinding sound.
Yep.
Wait, are we in Animal Crossing?
Dude, I'm crying.
Now in slow motion.
Dude, you do backwards
good
talking really well.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's exactly what backwards talking sounds like.
Don't play that forward because I have no idea what I just said.
Oh,
Forward.
but we will.
Play it forward.
Hi, this is Dan in Post, and to make up for that horrible alien thing I mentioned, here's Travis in reverse after speaking in reverse. I don't know what it means, but I'm more scared now than I was before I listened to that. Anyway, back to the show.
Did you ever watch the Office episode where they watch the Michael Scarn movie? And
Oh, absolutely.
so there's one part where they like
Threat
sing,
Level Midnight.
Yeah, in Threat Level Midnight, they're singing on the piano, and it's like some weird nonsense. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna record it," and then she dies, and then he plays it back, and it's a completely different song and like
Oh, that's
melody,
creepy.
and it's like the answer. Oh, it was so funny. But that's what this
That's so
reminded
good.
me of.
Golden Face.
Golden
was
Face.
the was the villain.
You know what that reminds me of? This episode in Community.
I bet it does.
Wow. Yeah. What?
They actually, one of my favorite guitar pedal builders, Emerson Customs, they did a Scranton Screamer, which is like a tube screamer, but it has like Michael Scott, like prison mic on it.
Stop.
And then later on, they did a Klon copy, which was called the Golden Face,
Nice.
which is also from The Office. So
You know, I have an
Boom.
emote of me as Prison Mike on my
that's
on my
fantastic.
Twitch channel.
That's
I was
fantastic.
like, I want to be Prison Mike, and my artist was like, "What?" I was like, "You know, Prison Mike. I want to look like this." And she's like, "Are you sure?" Yes, it's all I've ever wanted.
Oh man.
A lot of this had to be improv, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like all this conversational stuff, because sometimes when some of these characters are talking and they're making these pauses that seem they're really long for a monologue in a movie.
Mhm.
It's very much like they're trying to find the words in their
Or
heads,
try not to laugh.
or trying not to laugh.
Definitely that.
But I think that there's when I'm watching it, I'm like, they're actually trying to find the words.
Mhm.
This is improv,
Oh yeah.
and it's beautiful.
I
It's
know who's the
fantastic.
best at that in this movie is Fred Willard. Like watching him say things, like
Yeah.
when he's talking, it's almost like he's trying to get Catherine O'Hara to break,
Yes.
and she's doing the same thing to him. So
Yes.
the two of them going back and forth is hilarious. And Levy too. I'm sure that thing with the glasses where he does the cross-eyed thing,
Yeah.
that's not in the script.
They had to
Yeah.
do that so
But-
many
but that
times.
is-
I'm sure that take. Oh,
I
Yeah.
want to know how much was scripted with Medicine Man No Go or whatever he
oh
says.
my gosh.
when when Fred Willard's about to show off the result of his surgery, you know?
Yes.
So
oh my God.
funny.
And Levy's like, no.
There's
no,
an
no,
energy
no.
to it to where you're like, I think Levy looks like he's actually worried they're going to take it too far.
Yeah.
He probably
him.
was, honestly. He was like, Fred, man, please, not again.
Yeah, we've done this take twice. Can
Please
we just,
don't.
no, please.
And like Catherine O'Hara she throws in that line, what's it like to be with a circumcised man?
Yeah.
Like she says that line, but it's so like it's like a little bomb. Like it doesn't seem like it belongs there, but
Mhm.
she says it because and the wife of Levy, it's almost like her reaction is real. Like,
Yeah.
I really want to see the script of this
So-
movie, see how much of it, because it says written by, and I'm like, come on. Is it all in like Post-it notes?
Yeah.
like,
Right.
scattered on the desks?
Oh, I just imagine them like they're shooting the scene and they're doing their bit or their line or whatever, and it's like, try this,
Mhm.
try this, try
Mhm.
this, and there's probably hours of improv that's on the cutting room floor. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, and if you get a good, Blu-ray of it or whatever, sometimes like there's,
And with
they do like the
deleted
in
scenes.
credits and they show you all the deleted,
and with
shit.
all these great actors and comedians together, like it has
there's
to
gold.
be gold.
There is gold because there's shit with from 40-Year-Old Virgin with Seth Rogen
Yeah.
and Ant-Man. Oh my God, Paul Rudd, like just. They do
Just
like
thinking about-
35 minutes
It's like
of stuff.
Steve Carell, the main
Yeah.
character.
No, just
You were like, no, Paul Rudd.
No, it's Paul Rudd. Like they just when they're playing video games and they just go back and
No,
forth.
but
and
no,
they
but that's
kept whatever.
That's the thing. Like I wasn't even thinking of Steve Carell, but because of what you're saying, those two actors in particular together are hilarious.
well, Jim Carrey in Liar Liar, they introduced pretty much Steve Carell. He's a
Yeah.
bit actor,
Mm-hmm.
or no, I'm sorry, Bruce Almighty,
Yeah.
and he plays a newscaster. And that whole scene where Jim Carrey's making him go blah, 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 blah,
Oh.
like
Yeah.
that's all.
The outtakes
You can
from
see
that.
them all try not to laugh. It's
Yeah.
so
Have
funny.
you seen
And
the outtakes
that was him.
from that scene?
I have not.
I have. Yeah.
They're so
It's the end credits.
funny.
They just show you all the outtakes.
Ugh.
But it's probably that's the way it is with Jim Carrey. Like you said, they don't even stop and say, let's try it this way. They just go
Mhm.
and they run the film and
Yeah.
whatever, and then they do it in post. So it's like there's a movie with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn called Made.
Okay.
And they the whole movie's improv. And you could just tell because they have no idea what they're going to say to each other, and then they're just playing off of each other. And you get somebody in the movie who's a seasoned actor, like Peter Falk, and he's like looking at these two like, oh, at what point do I say my line? Because you guys are just going.
Yeah.
And you get gold. And I think that's what this movie is. It's just they just filmed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
You don't even know where the
people.
camera is.
It's giving funny people license to be funny.
It's so good.
It's gold.
I will be watching this movie again.
It's a good one. And you'll always find new things you didn't notice before. That you're like at the end, they do that like wrap up where they like go back 3 months later and you hear them say, well, you know, we consider ourselves bi-coastal if you count the Mississippi as a coast. And I don't think I've ever heard that line before. It was so funny. Like, yes, of course.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Well, in
Well,
the
thing that gets lost in that scene is they're talking like they're starring in a movie, and then you hear the director yell for extras.
Yes.
Right.
And if you don't catch that, you see them kind of posing in the background, but it's like it's so demeaning because they're talking the way they're talking.
Yeah.
Once we get a car,
Yeah.
like they're trying to be, the elite,
Mm-hmm.
and then the guy's like the assistant to the director of the director's director is like extras. Like you don't even get direction from the real
We
director
have
because you're
names.
the extra. Yeah, we have names.
Yeah.
And then she's still working. What's her name? Still
It's
working at Dairy Queen.
Quiet on the set.
Oh.
Quiet on the set.
I don't know that there's a better joke in this movie though than the remains of the day lunchbox.
Mm.
As far as like that precise amount of haha, it's like tuned to where like if you wanted to break down the tone of this movie into one joke, that yes, it's a PG rated movie, but it's about Anthony Hopkins as like a butler in the most dry British looking movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's nothing exciting about Remains of the
But
Day.
the kids
It
are really
should not be
excited
on
about it.
Lunchbox.
Yeah,
They-
it should not be on.
Kids hate
Lunchbox.
eating lunch, but they love their remains of the day
It's like the opposite.
lunchbox. It's like, okay,
Uh,
all right.
Okay.
we get it.
I love it. It's just,
Last-
it's the right
last joke.
amount of like, okay.
Okay then.
And not to mention he had like 3 of them.
Oh yeah, he was stocked up, man, waiting
Yeah,
for the rush.
He's not selling those things. Put them on eBay. I might actually create a Remains of the Day lunchbox.
So
You
good.
should.
You should.
Sell them on Etsy.
Oh my god! When at the beginning they're trying to figure out where he wants to put the sniper on top of the celebration,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
the joke about how the weather in Missouri changes every 5 minutes, which is a thing that people say, but we think we can get it down to 3.5. Like
3 or 4. Yeah.
I felt
We
so
tried
seen,
really
guys.
hard. That's one of my
Oh my
favorite like scenes in the whole movie. Is he's like, "What's this? Oh, that's the barrel. The barrel? No, the big barrel. Oh, the big barrel's
big
gonna
barrel.
go here, right? What about? I think we need 2 snipers. One here, one here. Yeah, we get egged every year. Like, take this seriously, Janet. Like, God.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna need about $100,000.
Yes. Like he says it so seriously too.
Right. That's like the budget of the town.
For, like,
is
10
about 30
years.
grand.
10 times the budget. Yeah,
Like,
It's like
so classic.
nobody's gonna get paid this year.
yeah, no. For the next 10 years, the town's gonna go under for this one production. I thought it was really funny that, Corky talks about his wife all the time. And he's like, I do my wife's shopping. And we were talking about pantyhose. And, like, he goes into all of these things that all clearly point to him not having a wife at all. And they go to
Yeah.
interview one of the townspeople. And she's like, oh, yeah, Corky and his wife, like, I don't know, like, maybe, it's really sad that his wife is just so unsupportive of him with how brilliant and amazing and it's just like,
And I've never met her.
I've never seen her. Like, she must just be
Never seen
really
her.
unsupportive. Like, it's not possible that there would be a gay man in the town, but it is possible that a man has a wife who no one has ever seen, who never
Right,
comes to
right. That's
town,
good.
who loves clothes, but her husband does all of her shopping for her. Like, that's the more likely story than that he's just gay.
That's almost as unbelievable as the 90s wave on Catherine O'Hara's head.
Oh my God, her
Oh,
hair in this
yes.
Her
movie.
bangs. There's 90s bangs.
There's something
oof.
about Mary's hair.
There's,
Uh,
but like all the 90s
bad.
moms did their hair that way.
Mm.
All of them.
With sweatshirts and turtlenecks.
Oh, yeah, the vest with the white
George's
turtleneck.
mom always wore the sweatshirt with a turtleneck. She did.
yeah.
Don't talk about
was a
George's mom
90s
like
thing.
that.
I'm sorry. It's my mother.
It's like all we've done the past few weeks is talk about George's mom.
Yeah, this is true.
Gross, guys.
It's
They're all
been
gonna laugh at you.
no, it's been therapy sessions
Whoa.
for me.
Okay.
That's what she's why I haven't seen any movies.
This is
Dang. All right.
In her defense, I did stick up for her.
Yeah, when we were having yeah,
So
that's true. You always turn into your parents.
I had
Yeah.
a hunch that this
Ay,
was about the same time as, and it does turn out it's the year before. Waiting for Guffman came out a full year before Ellen DeGeneres' famous Time magazine cover. The "Yep, I'm gay." You remember that cover from the
I-
90s? So
No.
while it is hilarious now, looking back, like, yeah, clearly the townspeople aren't catching on to what's really going on with Corky. I think at the
Mhm.
time, this was still an era where that is exactly how he would have been treated, even by people who suspected, like the dad at the
Mhm.
shop. This was not an era of like, oh, hey, obviously, this guy who's really into all these things and is single, confirmed bachelor, right? Like,
Married. His wife's just never home.
right. No one's ever seen her, and that's fine. And it's just a different era. So there's a weird mix as we're looking back from today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's obvious that he has got a lifestyle that he's not really living, but at the same time, I don't know if they in 1996 in the small town would have treated him any different if he'd admitted it.
Oh, they wouldn't have known
Uh,
at all. Like, I think that's 100% accurate because, like, when I watched this when I was young, I didn't know, and it was never
Right.
it was never addressed, and I was just like, oh, that's so nice of him
Really?
to go shopping for his wife's
I
pantyhose.
think this is the different part of the country
Yeah,
that
because
we're not
in
getting.
'96, if I met a guy like Corky, I knew he was. I knew
Yeah,
he was
but
gay.
we're in the Northeast.
Right.
It's a
Yeah,
lot
this
different up
was
here. We're very close to New
Missouri.
York.
in
If
the
he said my
90s.
wife, I'd look at him like,
Yeah, right.
come on, dude."
This
Yeah.
was a different area.
You know who does a really good job of explaining this dynamic in the country?
Oh goodness.
Malcolm
Look
Gladwell.
Oh, okay. I was really
His-
concerned you were going to say the guidance counselor on Community.
Community.
No. Malcolm Gladwell has a podcast. Surprise, surprise.
Revisionist
for any
History.
of those who,
Very good
who,
show.
who haven't heard. Revisionist History. In the episode is called "When Will Met Grace,"
Mm.
and it's a fantastic episode, and I think it explains a lot.
Hmm.
Very eye-opening, as most things that Malcolm Gladwell puts together are. I like how in this movie, one of the characters, I even forget which one it was or what she was talking about, this where they were talking about Corky, and they referred to him as being, that way.
Yeah.
That kind of sums it up.
This movie's perfect.
It's a hell
Yeah.
of a movie, Meg. You did good.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I felt like from what you have said about the past movies in this genre and the constant referencing of mockumentaries,
Mm.
constant, then this might be something that you all would enjoy. So I'm glad that you let me bring a movie that I grew up watching to the table for you all to enjoy for the first time. That was fun for me to do. And I feel like, I deserve that after being forced to watch the Halloween movies out of order on purpose. I
Oof.
feel like I deserve more than that, but I'll take that as a starting point.
Well, and at least after we did that horrible misdeed to you, we didn't accidentally let you search for alien porn.
I know.
That's
but
true.
you know when you did that
You're welcome.
earlier today,
For not doing that. Oh, we did that. Oops.
you did. But we're gonna
Oops.
save the
Oops.
viewers from doing
Yes.
that. We're gonna put in a little disclaimer.
We're gonna save.
We're gonna save
the
them.
viewers.
I'm gonna save them from the fate that I have endured this evening.
Oh my god.
Isn't it a great feeling though, Meg, to show someone a movie,
Alien porn?
a movie that is near and dear to your heart, and they appreciate it like you do?
Yeah,
It's a
unlike
great,
Stand By
it's
Me.
a great feeling. I mean, it sucks when you show some people a movie and they don't
shit on it
they
for
don't
2
like
hours.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
Dude, I've been there with the Side Chick Movie Club. Like every movie I pick, they don't like. I'm
Hold
like,
on.
you guys.
We need a
are
full
They just don't have
report.
any taste.
What-
They didn't like A Fish Called Wanda.
What?
Oh well, I
Actually,
agree.
neither did
I
Dan.
agree
That's
with
not-
that.
That's
Dan
not
hated
true.
it until we started quoting it, and then he
I
chuckled.
still hate
Yeah,
that
yeah.
movie, but there are some funny bits.
Asshole!
They're like, it's not really funny. I'm like, a guy in Australia literally died in the movie theater from laughing too
Yeah.
hard. He had a heart attack.
Oh my
So
gosh.
don't tell me that this movie is not funny.
You just don't know.
yeah.
It's been scientifically
So-
proven to be that funny.
And I've seen The Exorcist about
Anyway,
167
but you know
times.
who
Just
has
keeps
a really
getting
good
funnier.
funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact you're talking to that guy. Now, what do you think? You think we're qualified? Movie correct.
Yep.
That's a great movie too. And you know who picked that movie for the movie club? And I did not watch it
What's that?
when he picked it. Dan Bogan.
Beetlegeist?
Yep.
Okay.
Dan Bogan is the one who picks all the what do you call it, movies? Who's
Good.
that director? He's like,
Burton?
no,
Tim?
Tim Burton.
Burton.
No, like the
Tim Burton.
forget it.
Verhoeven.
The guy who
You're
directed
saying
Showgirls.
Verhoeven.
Yeah,
Oh,
Verhoeven.
Verhoeven.
Yeah, he's his movies have been Verhoeven movies,
Okay.
and like he gets it.
Yeah.
Like Dan
He
is
gets
like
satire.
Dan is like the only one in the group. Like I showed them all RoboCop.
Yeah, they
and,
hated it.
And Dan was the only one that Dan Bogan had already seen it
Hmm.
and he knew of it and he loved it.
Show them
to begin
Starship
with.
Troopers. They'll
But
love it.
nobody else gets
Mm.
it. Like nobody else appreciates it.
Meg, have you seen
Show 'em Wild
RoboCop?
Things.
I have not seen RoboCop.
Ooh, your time is
Oof.
coming.
Mm.
It's about time for George to revisit it anyway. I think sometime in the
Yeah.
next few months. Your time is coming.
All right.
Yeah, it's when we recorded that episode,
You were very wet behind the ears.
I was very green and
Yes.
I have never recorded myself gushing over the movie now at this point. And I think I need to do that.
Okay.
So,
Peter Weller took you to
and
the
actually,
river and you drank.
yes, he did. And I think it's perfect for Mini Megs because the movie's a riot. So,
And y'all know I love some cheesy movies, so
Hey, there's
Yeah.
no cheese.
I mean,
in
it's no
RoboCop.
Halloween 5, but it's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, if you like alien porn,
Well,
you're
that's
gonna
Dan.
love RoboCop.
go back to the tape. Someone reverse the tape. Let's get a quote on that one.
You're not ready for alien porn, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah, your kids are gonna love it.
Banned. Both of you were banned.
Wow.
Not allowed.
Hey-o.
Heyo.
Well, thank
Wow.
you so much, Megs, for coming back and joining us once again. Why don't you tell the good listeners where they can find your other content?
My other content. Well, you can find me on Twitch. In case you don't know what it is, people can stream the good old video games. You can play, you can do some art, you can just sit there and talk to people. There is even a channel called Just Sleeping. You might ask
Oh.
yourself, what do they show on that? It's people
Feet.
just sleeping.
Sit feet. Sometimes, probably. I would imagine.
The show is called Sleeping Sockless.
That's a different kind of show. Definitely not my kind of show.
You can't do that on
Can't do
Twitch.
that on Twitch.
no,
No,
me neither. Ugh, no.
it's too much. Well, you won't find me doing that. Anyway, find me on
Wow.
Twitch. Find me on Instagram. I don't talk about feet there, but these guys do.
Good. No.
So what,
No.
what are
No,
your
I hate
handles? Where can we find
Blech.
you? We're gonna have to redo
Only
this
love
whole
handles
part.
here.
Jeez Louise.
Only love handles.
Like, did you plug your channels, Megs? And I'll be like, yes. I said I'm on Twitch. And they were like, you know what? I want to talk about feet. And he was like, yes, feet. Let's discuss that some more. Let's add that to your brand. Love that for you. Did you like it? Was it good? Was it good?
It's
Oh my
fantastic.
God.
That's great.
Thank you. I was being a villager from Animal
fantastic.
Crossing. See? All that gaming
Fantastic.
comes in
Fantastic.
handy.
Everybody, I want to let you know. Listen to Megs on.
Speaking of gaming, do you know anyone who plays games? I do. Wait, what's their name? Are they cool? Oh, yeah. Their name's Megs.
She's on the Twitch.
She's on twitch.tv.
She's on the Twitch.
What's her name? Mini_Megs with a Z? Yes. Why? Because she's a millennial and she's into branding. Okay? We got to keep that branding on point at all times. Also, I just got partnered with Logitech, by the way. So if you want some sweet deals on Logitech stuff, just use Megs10 at checkout. I'll save you 10%. So that's kind of dope.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Wow. Spoiler
Spoiler
alert.
Wow, I think I
Alert.
need some Logitech's gear.
Heck yeah, I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up.
We don't have any connections.
Who can do that? What?
We get you on Bob's
I s-
radio.
I still get friends and family discount at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Nice.
You guys want to head down to the casino? I can get you like in the buffet. But you got to play a little bit first before you get the comps.
I don't even know what my plug is going to be at this point, you guys. Like, I think it's just gonna be a garbled mess of me going.
But we'll play it backwards and they'll be able to.
Yeah,
see
and
what-
it'll
what
say
you're
follow
saying.
me on Twitch, mini_Megs, or on Instagram. Whatever floats your boat.
Nice.
It'll be something like that. I don't know. You guys should just do the plug.
The good
for
news
me.
is you picked a great movie.
I am glad that you liked it. It is a classic. It is one that I have quoted my entire life, and I don't even realize that I'm quoting it. It is so ingrained in my memory, and I'm really glad that I got to share it with you all. And we can
Now, before we
Nice.
wrap up, Megs, I do need to know
yes.
what is cut out of the version that you had seen previously. What was new to you having watched
Yeah.
now the R-rated cut of this movie?
Oh no. Okay, so
I mean, obviously the Raging Bull is probably a bit more direct.
yeah, that one was cut out. Teacher's Pet was actually cut out as well.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, because my mom would not allow us to
Huh.
say teacher's pet ever as a kid. Because she
Huh.
said it meant something inappropriate, which, to be fair, it does. So she was like, nope, not watching it. It's gross. And I'm like, accurate. I'll stand by that one. But one thing I didn't get that was a major joke was the surgery.
Oh.
So him talking about Jeff City and going, and she's like, tell them why. And he's like, I just, it's a medical procedure. And just some minor.
surgery.
And all these years, I thought she wanted like to just show like how brave and like how like, oh, he went all the way to Jeff City for like his health. Like it was a huge deal. We left Blaine to go to Jeff City. And all these years I have thought it was just to showcase how cool it was that they left the town. And then I watched this today. And they got to that dinner scene, and I was like, what is this? I've never seen this scene before. And she starts talking about what the surgery was. Oh my God. I was not prepared.
I think it was what was funnier was his nonchalant, like how he said he had penis reduction surgery.
Well, and then the
Like, he's
joke
just
about
like,
the
"Yeah."
vaginal enlargement.
Yeah, why don't you get
Yeah.
I
yours
didn't get
enlarged?
yours
Which
done.
takes back to Godfather. It's The Godfather.
Yeah, it's a
Jesus.
reference to The Godfather.
Cavernous.
Yeah, I did not know any of that existed until today. So that was just absolutely hysterical. Finding that out, I feel lied to, honestly. I also missed the alien scene where they talked about being probed for several hours. That was edited out as well.
Oh,
So
that was
when the
amazing.
aliens
Individually.
So when the aliens got to Blaine in the play, I just thought it was about that one guy who talks about the like crop circle, and I was like, wow, they really just pulled this alien thing out their butt, didn't they? But
Out their butt. Yeah, like the probe.
there's more to it than that. So yeah, those
Yeah, and if you want to see paintings of it, check out the movie Love and Saucers.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Nobody do that. No one Google that. No one. Don't listen to Dan. Don't. Okay? I've known this man for a long time. Do not trust what he says about Googling things. Okay? Don't do it. Learn from those of us who have walked this path before and can never undo what we have seen.
There was a movie.
I'm Googling it right now,
in
actually.
No.
19
Don't do it. Don't do it.
If you enjoy alien abductions, Meg, there was a movie in '93 called Fire in the Sky,
Holy shit, that movie.
which has one of the best abduction scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
See, now I'm scared of looking
It's
into
very,
these things.
Very, very, very. I'm one of those people that say, if this were true, if this were
Mhm.
real, this is probably exactly how it happened.
So this isn't like a
Fire in the
Dan
Sky.
alien movie. This is like different kind of
It's,
alien
it's
movie.
Well,
a
it's ba-
unique
it-
one.
It's based on a true story, but it's whether or not you believe the people that are telling it.
Interesting.
But yeah, it feels like a TV, like a made-for-TV movie, and then all of a sudden,
But the effects
it is
are
like
good.
terrifying. Like
Yeah.
I could imagine easily lulling yourself into thinking, "Hey, I can watch this with my kids, and I'll watch it with my girlfriend, and
Ooh.
I'll watch it with a bunch of people that I don't really worry about because it's so like just a TV movie. How bad could it get?" And then the abduction is so fucked up. Oh my god, Fire in the Sky.
And the
good
story
movie.
itself is pretty. It's a really good movie, and I remember seeing it in the theater probably twice in one night.
Wow, one night?
It was. Yeah. Well, I worked there, and we had to watch
okay.
the movies, but it was one of those movies where we went up and we re-threaded the film into the projector and watched it again.
Dang.
It was that good.
Hey, we're gonna have to watch that
Before
one
DVDs.
then.
Yeah, Fire in the Sky.
This guy's a pretty good painter.
He is a pretty good painter.
No, you
George
did
is checking
not.
out alien porn.
You did not Google
He's not
it.
bad. I don't think it's that bad, honestly.
It's not too explicit. I mean, it's not like
no.
some of them are a little explicit, but for the most part, it's like just odd.
Well, it's not what I wanted to see, Dan.
But it's his truth.
Oh, here's a-
That's the weird
Dude,
part.
here's
like,
a picture. Here's a picture of him holding the portrait that he made,
Hmm.
and the alien is
Hot?
pretty attractive.
Oh
I mean,
my
I'm not gonna
God.
lie.
Is it like a
Oh my
Gray's alien?
God.
Like the big eyes, big head?
Oh, here's one. Okay, that's a little much.
It has
but-
good nipple placement, though.
All right, let's go back to that clip, please.
Oh, nah. Wow. Okay. There you go.
But overall, not nearly as bad as Mini Megs makes
This
it
is
out
going to be
to
the longest post-credit scene
He's
ever.
gonna cut it.
for
There's
us.
no
Oh,
way.
what's this one?
And
Speaking of that, Dan.
Whoa, what is that? A praying mantis?
Oh my
last
yeah,
week's
there's a praying mantis
post-credit was really
alien.
good.
no.
Whoa.
You gotta watch the movie. It's weird, man. Like I don't want
No,
to judge
you
the guy because I don't know. I
Watch the
didn't.
movie.
It's very strange.
Okay.
It's his truth. Whether it really happened or he's got some kind of strange
I think
mental
praying
illness.
mantises are aliens.
But
You
are
ever
they
really
6
look-
foot tall and bringing you a woman?
I don't know.
Alien?
Have you ever seen Space Ghost?
I mean, this
Yeah.
alien basically looks like
Zor-
a woman with big eyes and a white
Look
face.
at Zorak. Zorak is real. He's legit. Hey, Space Ghost.
Oh my god, I grew up on Space Ghost.
Oh man.
I love that Coast to Coast when he used to do the night the talk show. That was so good, so brilliant. I wish I thought of that.
You have to film it. I want to see your faces when you react to these things. Okay, it's
Yeah, we got to figure
Yeah.
that out.
I can help you with that. Hashtag code Megs10 at checkout.
No one needs to see our face when we react to alien porn.
Oh my God, there's a Love and Saucers Facebook page, and
Love
it has
and Saucers?
3.2K
No.
followers.
Wow.
They're bigger than us.
No.
But only 3.1K likes.
Oh.
3.2K
So one
followers.
person, one subscribed and liked it, and that was it.
No, 1,000. No, what is 0.1 of
100.
3.1? 100. So 100 people. 100 people follow Love and Saucers,
Oh, okay.
but are not
They're
willing
just
to
liking the
like
shit
it.
out of it.
They're not willing to like it for
Moral
maybe fear of
reasons.
other. What other people like, because you could just look up. It's like, oh,
Right.
what does Travis like, and go through the
Yeah.
list and be like, Love and Saucers, huh?
Yeah, it's got like 11 likes and like 4 million followers.
Yes, that's the best. If you can find something that has that ratio,
Right.
you know
You
it's
know
good.
it's gold. Yes.
Yes,
No one wants to like it, but they all love
that's
it.
the
They all watch
ratio
it.
I'm looking for.
3 people have liked
Three people feel confident enough in themselves to be like,
Yeah.
you know what?
They
I want everyone
subscribe.
to know. I like this. This is what I want them to know.
Click.
This right here defines
Yeah.
me.
Okay, this is
I like cocaine bears.
this is what I thought it was. It is someone who this is a Halloween costume
Hmm.
of this gentleman from Hoboken
And the
or
chick
wherever
that
he's from,
is an
and
alien.
the alien.
Okay.
It's fantastic and
It is
amazing.
fantastic. I love creative Halloween costumes.
Did you see this, Dan?
I
It's like
no,
my
I didn't
favorite
go
thing.
Googling. I watched the movie and that was enough aliens for
Okay,
me.
I'm going to
That
Send
would
it
be
over.
my
I'll look at
A&E
it. That'll be fine.
Channel's
Yeah.
show, my G4 show would be following people's costumes and creating, see who's the most
So, like,
creative.
it's not
Cosplay?
crausey, but this
Not
guy
so much cosplay, but just like Halloween
Yeah.
costumes, like people that go to
Cosplay.
parties. Well, cosplay is different. That's like superheroes.
That's
and-
not
and
superheroes.
whatever.
Cosplay
I like
is
when people-
costumes, but
Yes,
like
Yeah. But I like it when it's a
more.
little more obscure. Like
That's a good
I ran up to a
costume.
kid on
I like it.
Halloween who was dressed as a Mondrian painting, and I went up to him and I'm like, he's walking around with a frame. He's carrying
Uh-huh.
a frame, and he's got the horizontal and vertical black
Uh-huh.
lines with different colored cubes, and his face is inside the red cube. And I went up to him and I said, "Dude, this is brilliant. Like he looks like an piece of
Yeah.
art, but it's like a Mondrian painting. Like some people would be the Mona Lisa
oh my god.
or a Van
See,
Gogh. No, this kid is like
that
cubism, and
is
I love it.
brilliant.
I
But
was
that
on
is
it.
definitely
absolutely.
cosplay as well. I'll send you
cosplay.
some. So for example, I've decided to make my own cosplay for the first time because I went to one place
good.
and I was like, oh, I want to do that. Can I sew? Absolutely not. Can I fabricate anything? No. But I had an idea and I thought it'd be really funny. One of them is there's a character in a video game and he has like geo powers, right? And one of his things is he like, makes a giant like geo pillar thing that like it makes a shield, whatever. But the funny thing is, I am small. Okay, I'm like 5'3", but my husband is 6'7". He's giant.
Mm.
And I thought it'd be just absolutely hysterical if I played the little Geo character and he dressed up as the pillar. So just make him a costume where he's like a giant pillar. And I thought, you know what? That's freaking hysterical. Like, you can't just.
He could have been your lamppost.
Yeah, he could be my
Yeah.
lamppost that walks around. But, like, I think that's the best thing about, like, cosplay stuff, which is that they can make costumes like that art costume that you were talking about with, like, that's just, like, super clever and funny and, like, isn't just, like, a copy of one thing, but it's like, hey, I literally went out of my way to create something that I've never seen before. And I think that's, like, so cool.
You know what you guys should be for
What?
Halloween?
Not the aliens.
You should dress up.
Don't even think about it.
You should dress up like. You should dress up like Han Solo or Luke Skywalker in Hoth gear, like the parka, and your husband should be a tauntaun. And you should sit on his back. That would be hilarious. Or did you ever see Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome?
Yes.
Okay, well, the guy that he fights in the Thunderdome is like a 7-foot tall guy with a little man in a Yoda backpack.
I'd be the one in the backpack.
You would be the
Heck
one
yeah,
in the
I
backpack.
would. Somebody gets to carry me around
Or you could be-
everywhere. I'm in. Let's do it.
You should definitely Google
No.
Quato though.
Yeah.
Kuato.
No wonder we had a 3-hour episode last time.
It's not me.
It wasn't
it's
really-
you hooligans. I'm just sitting here.
All right.
Like, what?
What do we
And you're
have?
like, no,
what,
the alien
what do we
porn
have
is
left
fine,
to
Megs.
do?
Go back. Stop. Go back. Search history. Go back. It's
Go back.
fine.
Google
Google it.
Quato.
I mean, I had to. I had to.
Do it.
I had to go
Use
through.
Bing. Use Bing so there's no
Yeah.
history.
I had to keep scrolling through the photos to like find one that was like, what Meg might have seen because it
Right.
sounded terrible.
No, it's
Keep in mind,
Alls I
Meg didn't
saw
even know
was-
about the penis, reduction until tonight. Meg's
you have to finish the
That's
sentence
true.
faster,
Surgery.
Dan. You can't just say Megs didn't even know about the penis.
Meg didn't know about the penis.
Pause. Scene.
enlargement scene in the movie. We just
God.
watched.
God. I cannot. No, it said I Googled the movie and I thought, I'm gonna get a movie title, maybe an IMDb page. And no, it's him humping an alien in a field. I was not wanting that as my this is my final image I'm going to view before bed. What a great thing. Yes, that was what
To
it
be
was.
fair, it gets way worse.
I didn't
than that.
think his
So you saw
art
one of the tame ones.
was in the right there. I thought it would be like the
It's the
movie
cover of the
poster.
movie.
No, it's him humping
the
an
movie
alien.
poster is
I
one of his
just-
paintings.
Blech.
There you go.
I just realized Meg can hear everything we're doing.
Yes.
Oh, Meg's been blowing up our group
I just
chat.
saw that. Yeah. I was
No,
on-
my wife Meg
no.
has been blowing up our group chat
Yeah, she's
about everything we're talking about. She's like chiming
Wait,
in.
how come I'm not in the group chat? Rude.
It's
Rude.
a weird wife group chat.
Yeah, she likes to send us messages while we're recording.
You didn't
so
add
she knows
me
that we
for
care.
this
She
for the
cares.
ones that I'm in. So y'all are just like laughing it up with someone with my name that
Well,
I
no,
could be
'cause-
best friends with.
No, because
I'm so offended.
that's true. I mean, generally, Meg doesn't know that we have a guest.
oh.
She doesn't. So
So
you know,
thanks for coming on the show, Meg. I'm sorry that we were so awful to you.
you were not awful to me. I have a great time every time that I'm here. I don't know if you will continue to ask me since I guess whenever I'm here, you are all just so inspired to talk for extra amounts of time. Like, what time do you normally?
Well, if you weren't here, we'd be talking about the Chiefs. So.
Yeah, you saved
fine.
us from
Yeah.
that conversation. So
The chefs.
the chefs.
The chefs.
Oh
That's
my
great,
God.
but who are the chefs? That's my favorite commercial.
It's so good.
That poor guy.
So what are we watching next week, George?
I don't know.
Oh, well, we should
Well,
probably tell you.
we did
A movie.
we've done a few comedies, right?
We have.
Some were hits, some were misses. So I
Mhm.
believe this week we are going to keep up that tradition and watch a
Of either hitting or missing.
we are going to watch the classic Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
What?
Yeah, since all this shit's popping up in the sky, we figured we might as well watch that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
yeah. Hopefully the Air Force doesn't shoot down any aliens before the movie's over, because
right.
Yeah,
We'll
that would be
We'll be behind the
not
Anyway.
good.
So what do you know about that movie? Anything?
I know that encounters. I know what we're referring to.
Right.
Aliens. I hope there's alien sex.
Okay.
We'll see. That's pretty much all I know.
Hmm.
There's I don't even know what the different types of encounters are. Like one's got to be like seeing them, and then another one's one's got to be like.
Yeah, I think it's kind of along the
And
same.
then like the third is being abducted by them, I think, or maybe the fourth one is being abducted.
It's kind of like
I'm not sure.
relics. You know, you
When
have your
does the
first, second,
probing
third
come
class
in?
relics.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the encounters of the fourth kind when you
Fourth
get
kind
probed.
is the
Yeah.
probage and
Gotcha.
the marriage.
So, yeah, I know it's. I think it's about
First
aliens,
comes
pretty
probes,
sure.
then comes marriage. Isn't that how the old nursery rhyme would
That's
go?
true.
See, you can't cut this out. You
That's
gotta have
true.
that. Holy shit! First comes probes.
Then comes marriage.
Thank you for joining us on the Remedial Film Class podcast. As always, you can find us at facebook.com/remedialfilmpod. We'll be back next week with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And Mini-Megs will be on twitch.tv under the screen name Mini_Megs with a Z. Z for millennial. Or something like that.